We're fastly approaching the season of summer, and this is when dropping that extra pounds become very, very, very important. And in this video, I'm gonna highlight the easy way of losing that extra pounds, and so you can follow through and try to achieve it. Because for me, I feel like if you understand the process of what's going on inside your body, it sort of gives you a motivation to follow through and see the end, because I like to see things happen. So first things first, the first thing we need to know is that in the presence of insulin, right, in the presence of insulin in your body, there's no fat burning happening. So if you've been trying to lose weight over a couple of months or years, whatever it is, and you're struggling to lose weight and it's not happening, that means you have high levels of insulin, right? And so we all know that high levels of insulin is caused by eating a lot and excessive junk and processed carbohydrate food. And especially in the absence of exercise, you get high levels of insulin. That's a simple way of knowing. You can also find this out by doing a test at the hospital, and they'll probably tell you have, high blood sugar. Your blood sugar is very high. That's a typical indication that you have high levels of insulin. And in the presence of high insulin, you're not losing any fat. It's not happening. Now, when your insulin is low, right, you activate a hormone. It's the opposite hormone to insulin, which is called glucagon, right? When you activate glucagon activates epinephrine or adrenaline, which is your fight or flight hormone, right? Now, once adrenaline is activated, adrenaline further activates another hormone, which is in your fat cell, called hormone-sensitive lipase. Now, hormone-sensitive lipase is very important because it's sort of the switch that turns on the fat burning process. It's the switch that sits between you keeping the fat and you burning the fat. Because what hormone-sensitive lipase does is it helps your body to liberate the fat. There are two processes to burning fat. The first process is the liberation of the fat, which is like lipolysis. And the second part is burning the fat. So once hormone-sensitive lipase is activated, there's a couple of other processes that happen, including perilipin and protein kinase A, to further liberate the fat, right? Once this fat is liberated, the liberated fat is then shuttled to your mitochondria via carnitine pathway, right? Which it goes into your mitochondria as acetyl-CoA, and it starts to be used as energy. I mean, there's a lot of other things happen, but we can't get into that because it makes this video very complicated and long, right? Shuttle into your fat cells and your body uses it as energy. Now, one of the easiest way you can activate this process, this whole process I've just explained, because that's the process of fat burn, is by fasting. So when you fast, you're not eating for a period of time, your insulin levels goes very low, and then you activate glucagon because it's the opposing hormone that tries to regulate your blood sugar. So fasting activates this process, right? Another thing that can activate this process is exercise. Exercise does activate this process. But even with exercise, you still need to be at a point where your insulin is low. Because if you're exercising and your insulin is high, it just means you're using the amount of sugar you have in your body at that moment, and that might drive it down. But guess what? After exercise, you know what most of us do? We go back to eating, and that doesn't help, right? Especially if you're trying to lose fat. So fasting and then exercise will sort of be like the best to do. In fact, I do this most of the time, fasting and exercise. But fasting on its own will do this process. If you choose to go through the route of exercise, make sure you eat foods that are very, very low glycemic so they don't spike your insulin. And with exercise, you somehow will be able to achieve this process, or you come close to fasting. But fasting is the ultimate. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this helps. I'll see you next time. Have a good day.